I think it's saying it's preparing to do it. Oh, I'm getting a little progress bar doing something. Perfect. I think it's saying it. I can see it. I can see it. So I think we're good. And you guys should have gotten a little notice saying it going live or something. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Cool. Thank you. So I think we're okay.
Oh, yes.
Good. I was sweating it out a little when John Leingruber emailed me last night and said he wasn't able to make it. So I had only done this once before and I had some trouble with it until I got Jeremy involved to get, my passwords and stuff set up so I could actually see what was going on. So this is the first time I'm doing it after that's been set up, and it looks like it worked.
It did.
Fantastic. Okay. So Ed, if you could just repeat the last thing you said about the camera,
Yeah, I watched the club's last meeting online. I played that, and it was kind of ironic. I have a on 10/17. I have a mosaic of the Andromeda galaxy, which was the date that the actual discovery was made. What was that? A supernova in that?
the Nova, yeah.
Yeah. So I have on that date, I actually did a mosaic from the S50, and I thought that was pretty ironic because that was the first meeting that I had, reviewed, online.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
But I have the S50. I'm enjoying that, and I ordered the S30 Pro, which is back ordered. So sometime in April that'll show up, and I'll plan on setting them both up on clear nights. Set up my deep space object, and then play with the S30 Pro for either like maybe all of Andromeda, or maybe hopefully I'll get the Orion. I'll get a bunch of Orion nebulas in one shot before that's gone, and
Yeah.
I do plan on being at the Star Party in Valley Forge and bringing my scopes over there, and you guys are down in Radnor, right? So yeah, that's close enough to me. I'm up in Harleysville, so it's just a shot down the Blue Route, and I could be there. But I was up at 5 a.m. this morning for a meeting, and I couldn't make it tonight. But I do plan on attending in person in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have one other new person. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Karthil or Karthik?
It's Karthik.
Karthik.
Yeah, it's a soft T.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm a new member. I joined just over the weekend.
Very new.
Wanting to do that for a very long time. Finally did it.
Oh, fantastic. And
Yeah.
what type of interest in terms of astrophotography? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, so I've been doing imaging for a couple of years. Uh, I've been doing more data collection. I haven't really had much time for processing. So I have a ZW533 MC.
Yeah.
I have a Red Cat 51. I
Okay.
use that combination. I also have a C-Star S50. I've done a fair bit of imaging with that. And I've done a little bit with the Star Adventurer 2i with tracking. I use Nikon D850. I've done some imaging with that. I also done a fair bit of imaging the old-fashioned way, which is hundreds, maybe thousands of short exposures, untracked. uh,
Okay.
uh, and then stacked. So mostly white field. Uh, I've done like Pleiades, for example, but mostly white field. Uh, so I'm still relatively new, and the problem is finding the time to do the processing.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. What are you using to do the stacking?
Uh, yeah, so with the ZWO, I've used the ASI Studio,
Okay.
which does the stacking. It's fairly straightforward. I've played with Cyril. Um, uh, played a little bit with Deep Sky Stacker, with not so much luck. I also do a fair bit of landscape astro. That's how I got started. With star trails and things like that, moon stacks. I've done actually a lot of those. So I've used Sequator. So I use Windows. So I use Sequator for images where the foreground is this landscape.
Right,
Uh,
right,
yeah. So Sequator is pretty decent. It's free, just like Cyril. So I've used that. Uh,
right, right.
for that purpose. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, it sounds like you have a great start. Steve was just asking um earlier about the ASI studio because
Uh-huh.
he has a C star and he's looking to get involved in the processing and he was wondering about what software to use and one of the things that he's looking into was the ASI Studio since it's readily available, relatively easy to use. Is that something
Yes.
that you've had good success with?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, ASI Studios. I think it's. I would recommend it for sure. It's relatively easy to use, um, and it's free. And uh, there are different packages, different So there's ASI Studio for. I mean, well, it includes. There's a Deep Sky Stack.
Right,
There's one
right.
for planetary imaging. There are a couple of other things I can't remember right now off the top of my
I'd
head.
probably be using.
Uh, I would recommend that. It's fairly straightforward. Uh, I've also used still for C star images. I've looked at some YouTube videos using that. You know, it's not that difficult to be done. I haven't really gotten into tools like PixInsight,
Mhm.
maybe down the road, but which I've heard a lot of good things about that. So
Yeah,
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 Okay,
yeah,
thanks for the input.
yeah,
yeah. There's a pretty good mix in this group of people using Serral versus and PixInsight.
right.
So if you do venture down those paths, depending on which one you decide to go with, we should be able to help out with that.
Sure, sure. A PixInsight, I have that in mind. I haven't taken the plunge yet, but like I said, Cyril is good. It's free. It does seem to have a lot of features,
Yeah.
and it gets frequently updated. So, um, um, and then ASI Studio, of course. Uh,
Yeah, I think it's very well supported from what I've seen. I haven't used Searle, but like I said, a number of people here do, and uh, I think I'm going to wind up trying it just so I become familiar with it. I use PixInsight personally, and
uh,
uh, so that's what that's my go-to because that's what I know and that's what I.
right.
But I think I'd like to play around a little bit with Searle just to get more familiar with it. But besides me, there are other people at this meeting that can help with that. So good. That's good. I'm
With
glad.
Cyril, so there are a fair bit of
Yeah,
Cyril users.
with
Okay,
the
Yeah,
very good.
with Searle, like Wayne
Okay.
Wayne uses
yeah.
Searle.
Uh-huh.
Joe Lamb, who's isn't in attendance right now, he uses Searle. There's a guy by name of John Limegruber. I think
Uh-huh.
Tom, you've
Yeah, I
played
use
with it a
Cyril
little bit,
too.
right?
I use Cyril, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And who else is using Cyril?
I have those tools. I have Cyril. I have PixInsight. Um, I went through an online course on PixInsight and used my own stacks, my own images. I save everything I take with the S50. Um, and yeah, the final image was worse than the original image. It didn't fare well at all. I'm interested in learning the tools, but I have a hobby that I enjoy, and the videography end of it is a hobby that it's taking almost as much time, but not as enjoyable as yet.
Yeah, that's yeah, it can drive you crazy sometimes. It's funny though you say that the process, the post process looks worse than the original because I actually literally had that happen about a week ago where I was shooting with the S30 Pro and I took the subs and brought them into PixInsight and I wound up like seeing this background noise that actually was indicative of a problem I think I was having with some flat frames. The things like those all-in-one systems like that, they have their own built-in calibration frames. And I wound up uh, actually capturing flats. I wasn't sure in terms of whether it had flats or whether it just did darks. I wasn't exactly sure. So I thought, well, I know how to do flats. I'm going to just do it. Well, the thing was so small, the sensor's so small, the front lens, that I used my phone with just a white screen to make the flats. And I usually put a piece of like translucent plexiglass, like white plexiglass in between to just diffuse the light panel a little bit more. And I thought, well, it's so small, and the phone looked pretty good. I put it on there. Well, I think it actually introduced a a pattern because next night I went out and I was capturing M44 as a sort of just a test, and I saw these like vertical lines in the subs, and then when I stacked them, it got really bad. And it was, stuff like that is really hard to get rid of because I introduced this sort of banding pattern into it. So you could create, what's called an artificial or a synthetic flat by getting rid of the stars, putting a real soft filter over the whole background image and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna take a piece of plexiglass this time, put it in between, and I did that last night, and it took care of the problem. So it was just a perfect case of like, why didn't I leave well enough alone? It was working before I did any of that, and then I wound up introducing a problem and sort of I had about almost 2 hours worth of data, and I'd sort of like, well, I guess I'm just gonna not play with that anymore. But I was really surprised when it got finished. When PixInsight got finished, it just looked horrible. It was sort of like, oh, I think I should have just stuck with what I had.
Hmm.
But I think generally speaking, though, these tools tend to work quite well once you get familiar with them.
Yeah.
But and that's
I think the key
part
is
of
to
what we
get
go through
familiar
with
with them.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So any other beginner Q&A kind of things or any kind of just general stuff before we start the official meeting, which is around now?
Mhm.
Or should we just move forward?
Well, I may butt out early. I had eye surgery about a week and a half ago, and I don't know how long I can stand sitting in front of this screen. So,
Okay.
so I just want to let everybody know it's not because of being bored or anything.
No, we wouldn't take it that way. I
Okay.
hope you're feeling okay. So let me do this. Let me
I wanted to thank you for the astrophotography clinic several Saturdays ago. It was really, really good. It was very well run and had a good time. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, then Tom
Cool.
and Joe, yeah, they everybody did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
And part of this meeting tonight, I kept this as an open session, primarily an open session, so that we would have or could address any follow-up questions or any follow-up things from that meeting. So,
Was
uh,
that meeting recorded?
no,
Okay.
no, they weren't. They were a live clinic. So we did it at the Radnor Center here. So and they were not we didn't really have a means to record them.
Yeah, we didn't have all the equipment. We just kind of just had a projector, really, and a sound system.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we didn't, you know.
So
But
let me
I
do.
would add that the presentation decks, the slide decks that were provided, they're all on the DVAA
Oh, that's right.
website
Yeah.
available for
Yeah,
download.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Stan.
yeah, all the
Thank you.
winter clinics are up on the website. You know, that there's PDFs there of each PowerPoint presentation. So you can go back and look at the astrophotography ones or the ones on using Sky Safari and Stellarium, some collimation ones, astronomy terminology, astronomy and telescope terminology was one of the clinics too.
It really was a good clinic. I couldn't stay for all of it, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'm going to share my screen here. So what is that? Yeah, let's get rid of some of that stuff. Okay, so as far as where those things are, let me try to get to a browser. Oh, look, you guys are recursive. There you go. So, Steve, if you go to the website and go to the documents folder for anyone who's interested in those workshops. So if you go to the website and then go to the documents folder, at the very bottom there's a folder called workshops and clinics. So if you click on that, at the very bottom of that, there's a subfolder called indoor clinics. And you can see there's the lunar imaging. There's PDFs of each clinic that was given. So this is Joe Lamb's lunar imaging, Tom's navigate the sky and then solar system photography, and also telescope and astronomy terminology and collimation. And then my clinic on general astrophotography from tripod to deep sky. So you can, as members, you can download those. And those are the actual slide decks that were used.
Okay, good.
And then obviously any
Yeah.
questions, we could address in a future meeting or via email or something like that. Okay.
Yep.
So for tonight, let me get rid of that.
So it's only March and you've done 6 clinics already?
We did them in three
3D.
sessions.
Three
We did
sessions,
three
yeah.
sessions.
Wow.
Yeah, we did I guess the first one, Tom, was like three
The first
Three
one
topics?
was two. It was
Or two?
the astronomy and telescope terminology and the collimation clinic.
Oh, okay.
Then we followed it up with the astrophotography, which had three clinics all in one. It was just astrophotography, but it involved solar system, lunar, and deep sky, as well as like broad, wide field sky. So that was those three are combined into the one. And the last clinic that Gary ran was on Sky Safari, Stellarium, using star charts, all that sort of thing
Hmm.
for navigation around the sky and
You've been
how to
busy.
plan an observing or imaging session.
It was busy, actually.
You,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you've
Yeah.
been busy.
Yeah, but everything went well. We were really happy with the turnout. I guess the only one that was light was the telescope collimation.
Yeah, the
clinic.
collimation. We that was actually our most crowded clinic 2 years ago, I think, or 2 or 3 years ago we ran it, and it was mobbed. I mean, we had more people available this year to help than there were people who needed help, on their collimation.
That's how
But
good a job he did 2 years ago.
There
yeah,
you go.
maybe. But it was a really cold day. It was back in guess that was, it was the first clinic, first week of the first Saturday of the clinics, and it was a threat of snow later in the evening, but it was going to hold off. But I think some people the forecast for snow kept moving back, but some people may have made their minds up early that they weren't going to chance it. But anyway,
Yeah. So for as far as the agenda for tonight, so which we've kind of already started, just sort of a follow up from that series of indoor clinics. And then Nelson's going to give us Nelson last month suggested that we maybe have a periodic segment like 15 minutes of fame where an individual from the group would just give a little bit of background about themselves and then also talk about like any particular projects they're working on, things of that sort. So Nelson actually is going to do that tonight. So we're going to try that out. And then I also got an email from Tom Skrovanek, who cannot make the meetings this possibly like stretch it some like maybe the good chunk of this year.
yeah, until the fall probably.
He has a conflict on the third Wednesday of each month.
Fourth Wednesday, yeah.
I'm sorry, the fourth
Yeah.
Wednesday of each month at this time. And since this meeting is tied to the general meeting, the monthly meeting at the Radnor Center, that is tied to the lunar cycle. So it just so happens that this year conflicts with Tom's schedule. So he actually posted a question in terms of something that he's trying to do to get involved in deep sky imaging. And I have that on a subsequent slide, which we'll come back to. And then he's going to review this, watch the recording of this session, and then kind of get our input to his questions. So, and then lastly, we'll do show and tell, and recently processed images people have, new equipment techniques, things of that sort. So let me stop that share.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to stop that. So as far as the clinics go, some of you were there. Are there any follow-up questions or any particular topics that would be helpful in future clinics, things like that? We're always looking for input from the club as to how to focus our whatever training that we're providing or whatever help that we're providing to people, or even just general feedback.
I got one.
Yeah.
The club website. When I go to the astrophotography little news group section, I think I've posted questions in the past, not more recently than a month ago, but there's no activity there. So I was just wondering about that.
Yeah, I mean, generally there is. That's where Tom posted this recent.
Oh,
Tom
really?
Skrovanek posted the recent thing about him not being able to attend, and
Oh, okay.
so did you? And I know I replied to that. Did you see that?
Uh,
It was like 2 days
no,
ago.
I
think it
haven't
was.
looked in the last month. I haven't seen much activity, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, there isn't. Most
Yeah.
people tend to use the main DVAA email group, that the groups.io thing. And that tends to be where a lot of people do things, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't use it.
Right.
I know Lou had brought it up many, many times, to try to use that. We've tried to push it over the past. It just doesn't tend to get used except few and far between.
Yeah. I miss
So
Lou.
what's that?
I miss Lou.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
all do. Yeah, we all do. But so I think that if you have specific astrophotography questions, that is a better forum to use than the main one.
Right. Okay.
The main one's nice for posting pictures and stuff like that, just general interest to the club.
Yeah.
But I think that if there's anything that gets involved in more detailed, kind of like deep dive things,
Mhm.
we probably drive the people on the general email group crazy
Yeah.
with some of the back
Yeah.
and forth. So
It
it's better
is,
to avoid it.
yeah. Isn't there like there's just I mean, you send like notification of this meeting to the Astro Imagers group, right? It
Yes.
goes out. So if you send an email out and send it to DVA Astro Imagers, I guess, or um, if you
No.
that way only the 70 people or whatever roughly who've said they have an interest in astrophotography would get it, and we wouldn't bombard everybody with it necessarily. It's kind of an in-between thing, it's a little more filtered.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's astroimagers at dvaa.org is the email address. So if you go to that the DVAA website, if you click on the imaging tab, there's the top sub page is called resource page, and that has that email address in there. And then there's also the astrophotography forum.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see when the last post was 3 weeks ago. And then beyond that, it was a month ago, stuff like that. Yeah, so it's not very it's not used very often.
Yeah, the IO groups is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, unless it gets too detailed, that's the thing. Um,
Hey Gary, does that send an email out to club members? Because I think I've tried to use those forums and I just don't think people see it. Like I don't think anyone notices.
it might not like this one.
No, you have to sign up for the groups IO.
Well, for the groups IO, but for the website,
Different.
Oh, for the
Right.
website.
Right.
I don't think it goes out to anyone. At least when I've put stuff up there, like you have to proactively go to it to know if there's a message or something out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's hard for me to like this one. The last one there is from this David Hogue, who thanked the people for the astrophotography clinic and then asked about purchasing a planetary camera. And I think Tom, you had responded to
Yeah.
that, but yet the response doesn't show up on this on the thread. So I saw that. Tom certainly saw it, who responded to it. But we also have like admin privileges to the website and stuff. So I get all kinds of emails. Like if someone, like even Bill, when you do your when you do your sort of podcast thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll like
That's
see
on Zoom.
those logins, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's
But
not through the website though.
yeah, but you're saying that the general population doesn't see it?
I don't think the general population sees stuff you post on a website. So if you're going to write in a forum, if you're going to say, if Nelson asks a question, right? If he says, what kind of what kind of camera should I get, or what's the issue with this frame right here? The only way I think you see it is if you go to the website. You're not going to be, the user, I'm not, like, I had no idea people were putting anything on the forum and the website because, I clearly didn't know about it. It wasn't going to my email. So I don't know, where it specifically goes. But I don't know if that's a feature. I know Club Express has a lot of nuances, and maybe there's a feature in there where you can.
I think we used to have a button on the website that says ask an astronomer, ask an astrophotographer. I don't know if they still exist.
It is. It is still there.
Yeah, if you hit that, then it goes out to 2 or 3 imagers, or at least it goes out in the email.
Okay. Thanks,
But
Tom.
but yeah, again, that's the thing. If people aren't always going to that website, every couple days at least or so, they won't pick up on it, and you could be hanging there for a while.
Good point.
Yeah. Now, what is there's a general though, email address for this whole distribution, right? Like the thing that John sent out on Monday.
Yeah, the astro imagers.
Yeah,
That goes
that's just the
Yeah.
astro imagers, right?
Yeah, the club has several of those group type of things. There's one for the newsletter type people. There's like 6 people in that group, Then there's the astro imagers where there's about 70. And then there's just the general stuff which gets sent to that email, but that you're going through, you're creating the email in that case through Club Express, and you're creating this whole big bulk email send, and it goes out and it looks through all the members, even expired members, people who just expressed interest at the club, maybe at Valley Forge. So, because we send out about 1,800 emails go out for the newsletter. It's a big number.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm just looking at John Limegruber's, the one that he sent out on Monday, and that is to astroimagers@dvaa.org. So that's the general thing. That's the general. So if you were Nelson, if you were to send an email to that, then all of us
In this
would get it.
group
I'm
would get it.
assuming we're all signed up with that, obviously. So
I think if you checked when you joined the club, if you checked your interest was astrophotography, I think you're linked into that. I think, but I'm not positive. But see, Gary, I think that message that John sent though is through that Club Express again. And he pulls you when you send an email through the club, you select a mailing list. And so he goes out and picks astro imagers, and the Club Express goes through and looks at who's set up for that. If
that's
you
it.
just did it without that, I don't know if everybody would get it
Okay.
or how that would work.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
It's worth
Yeah,
a try though.
because
You could just say test. Yeah, you could send a test one out, Nelson, with that
Yeah.
address, and just see if we get it. I'll respond back saying, "Yep, I got it."
Yeah,
I'll check
that's
that.
a good point, because I think the Ask an Astro Imager was just like 5 or 6 of us. I know
Yeah, it was a small subset.
it was a small group. Okay. Well,
Okay.
that's something we can look into a little bit more to see how that is. And then what you guys can do is go to your user on the website. If you go to the member, I can share again. So let me share this. So if you go to the member list, so I'm at the main, DVA. I'm actually logged in, so I went to club member list. I guess you can do it just directly through your profile too. You can probably just do it through here. Yeah, yeah, you can do it here. So this probably has that stuff in there.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, that's where it is, I believe.
To find what is visible to other members. So yeah, if you look at this so that just looks like just regular contact information. Oh, here you go. So
Yeah.
maybe it's part of this. Well, no, this is just telling you what kind of newsletter you want.
What kind of equipment you have.
Yeah, what kind of equipment.
Alerts?
That stuff's not there.
No.
Member of the public. Channel memberships, I'm not sure. Oh, I don't use a mobile.
Well, either Lewis,
Maybe.
Berman, or Jan know a lot about this, about the website, and they could answer those kind of questions.
Okay, well, so we can look into that and then pick that up at a future
Yeah, we can see if we can come up with
kind of at least a
create a
rule.
way of.
Yeah. Hold on, equipment classified. Yeah. So interest. So I guess when I signed up,
You checked all those,
I
yeah.
checked those things. So that's probably what put me on this astrophotography
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and you have
So
down,
I
yeah.
guess you can go here. So what I did was I did this member profile. I logged in, clicked my name, profile, and then over here on your website functions, there's a thing called interests. And under astrophotography, I have these checked. I guess I should check this one too.
Mhm.
And then
Now, yeah. Now you got an S30 Pro.
yeah, exactly.
I think when you renew through Club Log or whatever it's called, it puts you on that screen to
Right, it asks
update.
you all those questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember seeing that back in December.
Okay. Yeah, so that's something people can do, even like if they already did renew or whatever. Go to that profile and then go to that website functions under interests. Okay.
So does that do the automatic alert when there's a
We're
thing?
not going that far. We're not going that far.
Okay.
We'll have to look into that. We'll have to look into that. We can
Okay.
ask Jan or ask
Yeah,
I
see
mean
what can be done
Lewis
to.
would know too, I guess.
Yeah.
I was hunting and poking through there, and I saw that my forwarding had been turned off at some point for all the forums. And once I found it, it was a one-click fix, but it was it was not intuitive where I found that button.
Okay.
That'll be another work session right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Sorry about this diversion.
That's
it's an
actually a really
amazing-
good question.
No,
I
no,
didn't
it's
know I was
good.
missing out on it.
It's an amazing website. Like the Club Express is an amazing CMS, but man, it is hard to learn.
Mhm.
It is. It is. It has some really wacky nuances too. I know even when I was trying to figure some stuff out, I would ask John and John Linemgruber, who had used it a lot, and he said this is, and he just would send me like this is exactly what I do. I don't know why it works, but I do this and it works. Don't ask me anything further, kind of thing. So it seemed like very specific, like this is how you do it, and don't mess with it. So. Okay, so if there's no more just questions about the clinics and stuff like that, or does anyone have any stuff
Well,
with the clinics?
I did see under astrophotography, I did see a Cyril, a discussion of that. Hopefully, there's the clinic, I think, on Cyril, and is there?
Not particular. I mean, we did one. I guess it was 2 years ago. John did a short
He did a
thing
short
on
thing,
Cyril.
yeah. When astrophotography, you could look at that. It was
We
But
didn't do that this year.
I'd like to see I'd like to see that kind of thing. The post-processing tools, clinics on that kind of stuff, Pix Insight, Cyril, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Do you think there'd be an interest in And
Well,
that,
next month, actually, I guess, Gary, you're going to have a piece of that, right? In your as part of this Zoom, you're going to do the generalized hyperbolic stretch stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to
Which
do
is
a
the
short.
big piece of the processing. And that's where everything kind of comes together, you know?
Yeah, and also I know when I was sort of soliciting future talks, and Wayne, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but Wayne had come up to me afterwards and said that he in the future might be interested in doing something on Cero, because one of the things that like with anything, it's always like, how do I get started? So like I downloaded Cero. I haven't even installed it yet, but just to kind of try to learn it, so I'm more familiar with it. Uh, but like, how do you set it up? How do you just kind of get the ball rolling? And I think something like
Right.
that would be valuable, because besides the individual tools, you have to sort of have just the platform running, right? And then there's a lot of different plugins or different scripts that people post and things like that. So,
Yeah.
and Wayne, if you want to talk further about that.
Well, yeah, the basic program is fairly easy to learn. Uh, but since they got to a certain version, they've been updating it frequently, and they got to a certain version, and that opened the door to Python scripts. And the next thing you know, tons of new utilities came through, very sophisticated utilities and all that, and so there are tutorials online. One guy puts out a new tutorial every time a new script comes out. Whether he wrote it or somebody else wrote it, he'll put out a tutorial on how to use it. But it's in such flux, it's hard to keep up with it. I was doing a fair amount of was doing some image processing of deep sky stuff last year, and I kind of set it aside for a while. And since then, the tools are entirely new, so I've got a new learning curve that I have to do. But when I get back to it and go through that learning curve, I could put together some of a tutorial on the basics of it. It's not that difficult to get started. There's a couple of things you need to know.
right
The
there.
home directory, that kind of thing. But
Tool-
it's fairly easy to get started with.
Tools to add in, like you said, but there are a lot of different functions, and there are probably sequences to those functions. The plate solving and the color and you start with the stacking and even stacking,
Right.
going through what do you use to go through and throw out frames, and that kind of thing. So yeah, there's basics, then there's the tool maintenance itself, and then all of the different snap-ins and updates, and before you even get to the Python. But yeah, I think that would be very interesting. I don't know.
We'll keep you once things settle. Once Wayne gets sort of back on his feet with it and put something together. It'll be later in the year. We'll keep you posted as to when that'll be. Wayne and I'll coordinate that, and then we'll have that as a presentation. I appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you for offering. And again, I didn't want to put you on the spot here, so.
Yeah.
And this is a volunteer thing, so anyone's free to do or not do as they please. So
Yeah.
One thing too is to feed me or really any of it, like myself, Tom, Joe, any of the those astro imager question people, Wayne, with topics that you are interested in. I routinely solicit those kind of you know call for topics or call for questions, things like that. So we're always welcome to that.
Rerouting is fun, but it's very time consuming. So we got a Barbie head
I just muted it. I think it was Mike.
Yeah.
Um, so
Hey.
anyway, so
Hey Gary, I got a question for Wayne. Since he uses Cyril,
Okay.
and I've always used Pix Insight because that's what was around when I started. And have you seen a big uptick? I feel like now with vibe coding, you can really customize software, so you can customize some of the little tools a lot faster and a lot better for Cyril, especially if you're using Python. So have you seen like a lot of new stuff coming out over the past few months?
Absolutely, yes. Uh, there's one guy, Ricardo something. I don't remember his last name, but he put out like a dozen really powerful scripts in like a month. I don't know how, but the guy that normally does tutorials, his website is Deep Space Astro, I think, and he put out a script that he wrote to help you organize your work flow, where you can put in all the scripts and then check them off as you do them. And we're getting so much stuff in there that people are writing scripts to help organize them. So it's the growth and power of Cyril has improved dramatically in a short period of time. I don't know where it compares to Pixit Site, favorably or unfavorably. Pixit Site had a long lead time to develop tools, but the price is good, and it can do what we need, I think, at least especially now. The tools were weaker when I first started with it, but now it's got a lot of good tools.
okay. So what we'll do is when Nelson gets back, we'll move over to that topic. So how are you feeling about this, Nelson? You're pretty much ready to go?
My 11th floating rib on the right side is happy.
Good. Yeah, sorry to hear about that.
The camera didn't get injured. Just me.
So if you share your screen, Nelson's going to give us a little presentation about some work he's done to retrofit a focuser. There you go. I guess it's onto a couple pieces of equipment.
Yeah, I have an LX200 from the years of Yakataki, 1995 or so. And I have a newer HEQ5 with a cheap doublet. And that's where my main imaging camera is. So I got Gemini focusers similar to the EAF, and I adapted to both. So I made a couple of videos of what I did to mate these things with the telescopes. So if I they're about 3 minutes each, and I hope it's not too tedious.
No.
Give it a whirl.
All right, so I click the share button and
And then you'll need to pick which there you go.
let's
So
do the
looks like,
LX200 first.
okay, so that looks like it's sharing your that particular desktop. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So and start for the. Can you hear me?
Cheapo EAF
focus
motor. Yeah.
It's got the USB. Can you hear the audio from the video?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great. Sorry. B connector, or I forget the name, but I've got a little battery powered backup. USB out, USB in. You know, time's out. Now it's
We're losing your video here. I mean, your audio.
that's how it works. So
Up there.
from the video to the first photo
yeah.
by hand, and when you're close, put this up there, engage the gears, couple thumb screws. Better. We're on the road.
Yeah.
So to do this, you had to take it completely off. There's a brass shaft in here that goes to a pin on the actual mirror. And the trick is, we don't disconnect that pin, the telescope's pointing down. Because you have a disaster. So at any rate, tip it up. Take the 3 screws out. And there's 2 rust washers there, roller bearings. So I replaced them. I had to chop the knob down a little bit because it wouldn't thread in far enough. And I had these 2 standard gears printed on a 3D printer. And I had to put new set screws in here. Put them closer to the shaft because the shaft only went so far into the focus knob. And this thing, I made it work. I have access to CNC machines and I'll do the trick. So I think this might be a good thing to take to a star watch, so people can come up to it and they can adjust it to their own vision. Because as we all know, if you take the glasses off, it's easier to look through a telescope. So that's that gizmo. It was only about $60. Has a little infrared receiver there. Get the message in. So that's that. It's connected. I can take this off to put it in the case, but no problem. All right, that's that. So
No, Nelson, so you're that little IR receiver, so that's made for that motor, that focus motor, or how does that, how did you couple those together?
It's a Gemini. It's similar to the more expensive EAF that I don't know the brand name, but it's a Chinese knockoff, and the IR sensor came with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and well, what I did there, and I just thought of it today, was I have a little battery backup thing, and it has a USB. I plugged it into it, and I could take it to a Star Watch, and people could come and look through it and use the little remote, IR remote, and take their glasses off, and it's interesting. So I don't know. Do you want to watch the other one?
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
let's field some questions if
Sure.
people have questions. So you have a background in machining and stuff like that? Is that how?
Okay. My background, majored in physics, had some health issues, wound up pushing paper for 15 years, and my brother-in-law started a company doing orthodontic work. And I loved him. He died two and a half years ago, and I brought him and my sister, my brother-in-law and my sister, to DVAA around 1998, and we saw a fellow that was a NASA person talking about the Compton satellite, the Gamma Ray
Probably
Observatory.
John Conrad, probably.
Ah, yeah, it must have been, but it was so amazing. But anyway, yeah, that's at any rate, yeah, hmm, that's my history with DVAA. And
So Nelson, how did you get the remote? The
oh,
how
it actually came with the gizmo.
with the Gemini with the
Yes,
Gemini
and it plugs in with a 1/8 inch or 3 millimeter plug, and it I've used it with APT with the USB connector, and I've used it successfully. But I just thought today when I was making this video that I could actually plug my uh, charger in and make it work with the remote, and it works. So I could probably take this to a Star Watch, and people can take their glasses off and get it close. I'm sure they're going to get more than close, and it's going to be bad, but you know,
Well, it's a lot more effective when you have an electric focuser like that because with a manual focuser, the motion alone messes them up. You know, little vibrations as you're touching it
I
makes
know.
it real hard to focus. Even if you're experienced, it's hard to focus. And
Yeah.
once you use an electronic focuser, you never want to go back because it's just so nice. There's no
Yeah.
motion, and you can get it really sharp.
Do you guys have that sort of thing? Is that common?
I have a Rube Goldberg type design. Even I mean, it's much more Rube Goldberg than what you have.
I
That
didn't invent anything.
it's an inexpensive stepper motor on a little hand controller, and
Yeah.
it cost me about $40. And I actually it came with a mounting bracket that is supposed to mount to your scope, but I put some Velcro on the bottom, really not normal Velcro, it's heavy duty plastic clamps. And I interchanged that on three of my different scopes. I pop it off, put on their scope, and I can electric focus any of those scopes. And I brought to the Star Watch for that reason on my 6-inch reflector, which I bring to Star Watches a lot. And it makes it a lot easier for people to focus. They can take their glasses off, like you said,
Oh,
and
cool.
they can easily go up and down, and it's just so nice.
Yeah. That's nice.
And the kids like it too, because it's kind of fun for them, you know? They see it go out of focus back in. It's entertaining in a way too.
As I made this video, the silly thing timed out, and I don't know if it was the battery backup. It was probably a battery backup. It wasn't the Gemini, but yeah, that was kind of weird. Should I share the other one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Why don't you do that? And I just Googled this Gemini EAF. So if people go to like there's a bunch of them on eBay, AliExpress, and stuff like that, and it shows you all the parts that it comes with. So it does look like it's meant to be a kind of a ZWO electronic autofocus knockoff kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's about half the price.
So while I was at it, is it good? Bought another Gemini, $60 or $70, and I have this 560 millimeter SV Bony, like 294C QHY, DWO 120 mini here. And looked at the bottom of this focusing casting, and there's no way to use the existing supplied bracket to mount this. Not at all. No flat areas. There's 4 or 5 set screws underneath, but they're for the actual mechanism of the focusing. So what I had to do is figure out how to connect it. So I made this gizmo here. It goes around an aluminum ring, clamps on. I put screw holes underneath it to use the existing supplied bracket. Okay, now that's fine, but I had to make a new bracket underneath and drill new screws with a Gemini, because the screws that were there wouldn't allow this thing to work properly. No, I had to take the Gemini apart, make sure I wasn't drilling into something, drill it and tap it for these screws up here. So, but the cool thing is, it's not connected. I made this aluminum piece. It has 2 neodymium magnets in it. And I took the fine focus knob off and drilled that out to accept 2 other neodymium magnets. So as a result, I can do this, get it close, and then I can use that same gizmo to focus it. Time out.
That's ingenious.
I really like that.
That's great. Does anybody else have a solution? Oh my gosh, this is great.
Oh, here we go. This does quite well with the autofocus protocol. There's some slap. And when you're first directions, it's about 5 degrees lapse, but that could be corrected out in APT, which is the one I usually use. So that's my solution to autofocus on this guy. It's an HEQ5 mount. As I said, in order to get focus on this QHY, I had to do a sloppy ass, well, a chunk of aluminum, put it into the existing mouse and space the camera further away.
Wow.
So that's that gizmo. All right.
That's clever. That's really
Very
clever
nice.
with
That was
magnets.
it's very clever. I
Wow.
like that.
Hmm.
I'm really glad you showed that.
Thanks, Alex.
You said there's about 5 degrees of slop, something like that?
Slap is, yeah, about 5. Slap. That's what I call it. Hmm.
I like that you can do the manual focus.
Yeah,
without
well,
having
it's
to
connected.
decouple anything.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. I can't turn the course focus because the magnets are too strong. It's kind of strange.
Oh, wow.
But the gold one, I can spin that freely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay.
Any questions for Nelson? Anything the group has?
I just had one quick question, Nelson. And maybe somebody asked, I might have missed it. So you did all the machining, that's all aluminum as far as the brackets, or did you find like parts to make that up?
Yeah, the parts came with the Gemini, and they didn't fit properly based on my what happened was I had to drill new holes in the Gemini because my first plan had the it was I don't know if you ever had to do this, but I painted myself in the corner. Really. I had to make a new gizmo and drill new holes in the Gemini and take it apart because what I got from Gemini had it placed at a lower place, and that would have placed nowhere to drill the holes and put the attachments to the Gemini. So that's why that was changed.
That's
Thanks.
great. Well, thank you, Nelson.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for putting that together.
Yeah, Nelson, I recently enhanced my Meade Smithcast telescope with a electric focuser. I did it the different way. I wanted to move the eyepiece back and forth with the camera, whatever. And so I got a thing from I think it was JMI was the manufacturer, and it's a Crawford focuser that comes ready to use with a ZWO focus motor. So I got them. You know, you buy the focus motor separately, and then they provide the screws or whatever it takes to attach it. And so that I put that on, and that gives me like a half inch of focus range on my uh, on the eyepiece end of the telescope rather than on the mirror adjustment. So I haven't. I'm looking forward to trying that at star parties or star watches. Um, See how that works out. One thing I always do at star public events is I adjust the focus with my eyeglasses arm so that I'm reasonably close to 20/20 vision. And if it's sharp that way, it should be sharp for most people. Because I've found that too often, especially if it's a kid wants to focus it, they think that the object should be bigger. And the focusing it makes it bigger. Like if you're looking at Jupiter, they focus it so they get a bigger image. They don't understand that we focus it to get the smallest image. That's counterintuitive to someone who doesn't know any different. So that's an issue I've encountered with the public.
Huh.
That's
So if
interesting.
somebody's focusing quite a bit in one direction, take a look yourself and see if you've got a donut where there should be a point.
Yeah,
planet.
Yeah, I can imagine at a star party and I hand this to somebody and they do this or that. Yeah, we would have to get it close for the public.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point though, Wayne, because they're looking at it like it's some kind of zoom control, and if
Yeah.
you do defocus an object, it gets big.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, that's a good thing to watch out for.
And then you start getting a donut, which
Right, right.
which is another giveaway that it's not going to work. So I've often told people just a turn or two in either direction of my fine focus knob. Because one time I realized somebody was cracking the focus and then realized what was happening.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that brings up a good point. When you go to star parties, especially to any major public star party, a lot of the public, they may not know when anything is in focus, and then you work with them trying to get everything in focus, and they walk away being like, oh, yeah, I think I saw something or whatever, or maybe they walk away not knowing if they saw something, but they just kind of want to appease you, I think, and just, say, oh, yeah, I saw it's great. And they didn't really see anything. You look in there, there's nothing in there, or it's way out of whack, or you name it. I wonder if that's something for the star parties we could look at, just like maybe like a sheet or something, being like, here's out of focus, here's what focus looks like.
Oh, like a little cheat sheet for people,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
show them, like, set their expectation, what they're supposed to see.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you guys bring up a really good point that most people never think about this, right? Like, unless you're using, who uses, I say this after I bought myself a new camera, who uses a camera these days, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, sometimes the general public doesn't really understand focusing a telescope.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the glasses thing is always an issue too with people, because if they pull them off, then chances are they will need to refocus.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Because they're going to be they're going to now be out of calibration, right, with the sort of the rest of the world.
Right. Yeah, if I'm observing on my own, I leave my glasses off and focus for my eyes. But if I'm doing a public star party, I focus with my glasses on,
Yeah.
so that it's got a better chance of being right for the person that's going to observe.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Well, thank you again, Nelson. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So are you guys up for taking a look at Tom Skrovenek's sort of question? And then
Yeah.
we'll move on to sharing images, things like that. That sound good?
Yeah, let's see what Tom's question is here.
So I'm going to share that same thing again. Let me make sure I can see what you're seeing. Okay. So Tom, as I mentioned, is not able to make the meeting tonight. So he wants to get started with deep sky imaging. He's been doing planetary imaging. He's posted some Jupiter images recently, things like that. And he is hoping to start with the same equipment that he's using now. And we'll go into that in a little more detail. So his current equipment is he has an 8-inch Meade SCT at f10. So roughly 2,000 millimeter focal length, so fairly long focal length. He has an LXD 75 mount driven with that one-step controller that he had talked about in one of the previous meetings via ASCOM. He says it tracks the planets well. And so from a mount standpoint, if he can track the planets well, you can generally track deep sky objects well. He has an electronic focuser driven by ASCOM. And then he's also currently has a ZWO 662 MC camera, so a one-shot color planetary type camera that is used for planetary imaging. He's hoping to start doing the deep sky using this existing equipment to the extent that he can. That has a fairly small sensor, and it has fairly small pixels. So I did an image scale calculation for that setup, his 2,000 millimeter native focal length with that size pixel, and
Seriously
it's about
oversampled.
0.3 arc seconds per pixel.
Yeah.
So very, very oversampled. He can align the mount accurately. He uses sharp, and he does his polar alignment using that. And he's running everything on a little a mini PC running Windows 11 that talks to that one-step controller via ASCOM. So he's wondering what are sort of the next steps in terms of getting involved with deep sky imaging. I asked him before putting the slide together, I asked him what software is he thinking of using? Does he want to stick with the SharpCap Pro, or since he's already familiar with it, or is he looking to branch over to like Nina for the telescope control and things like that? And he said he's open to both. He certainly knows SharpCap Pro reasonably well, but he's not adverse to learning Nina or whatever else might be applicable. From a image scale standpoint, so I put together. I went to the Astro Tools, the Astronomy Tools website, just so I could get sort of a screenshot of his situation. So I put in his Meade telescope, 2,000 millimeter focal length, so at f10, and that ZWO 662 camera. So these are the specs for the camera. No Barlow, no binning at this point. And this is the Ring Nebula. So this is M57, just to give you an idea of image scale. And this is his field of view. So it's a very, very small field of view. Like if you go to that tool set and you put in M31, it's going to just show you a giant white screen because you're just looking at the core, at a tiny part of the core of something like M31. So one of the things from my perspective is that he's going to have a fairly limited range of targets, and also possibly some additional difficulty because as a lot of you guys know, when you're starting with astrophotography, longer focal lengths are generally not your friend when you're getting started with it. So the longer the focal length, the more problems you can potentially have. One other factor is sort of the guiding issue, because at this kind of focal length, at a 2,000 millimeter focal length, with that high an image scale and that small a field of view, you're going to need to guide. I think even at short exposures, you would probably need to guide. So I'll leave this slide up for a little bit, and then we can kind of open it up to the group in terms of what experiences you guys have and what suggestions to make to Tom as far as his next steps. Go ahead, Alex.
So he's going to be really restricted in the deep sky objects he's going to be able to see all of, and with a nice amount of sky around them to, set the picture, so to speak. Because if that was the Ring Nebula, I mean, the dumbbell is going to be blown out. So I think one of the challenges, he should definitely try to get a focal reducer for that scope. Knock it down to f6.3. The problem is with that Meade, it's going to be used, or somebody's new old stock if they still have it. So I think that would be part of the challenge, because you really want to go deep for planets, but then you want to back out. I mean, what's the big, everybody's into wide field these days, right?
Right.
So I think, before he gets into the software and everything else, I think if he can find a focal reducer to get down to whatever, but it has to match that scope. That's my understanding. I don't have an SCT.
What I'm wondering, Alex, because this came up. We sold a used one in the club, in the classifieds, and the person who bought it, it was either a Meade focal reducer or a Celestron focal reducer, and he had the opposite scope, but their specs are virtually the same. They're both 8-inch f10s.
Did it work for him?
And so I don't know. I haven't heard back, but that's a really curiosity because I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't if it's designed for that, focal length, and because it's the same optical design, the cone of light coming in should approach it basically the same angle, and so he might be able to get away with a Celestron one,
Right. If he could borrow one to try.
But I would. Yeah, it's definitely the first step, just because of image size, but also because even just speed.
He'd want to zoom out.
It'll be 3 times faster at a 6.3 versus a 10,
Right.
So just make it a lot easier.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's got that soda straw thing going on, and if he starts picking any DSO
Yeah,
that's
that's
on the large side, I mean, he's not going to be
yeah.
able to do the Veil or North American Nebula or
That's
Dumbbell.
really yeah. I mean, um, I use planetary cameras for deep sky too, but not that one. I've only used that camera. I basically have the same sensor. It's a different. It's the 462. It's the precursor to the 662, and all I've used it on is the Ring Nebula. That's all
Right.
I've used it on, and I have a 32-inch focal length on that. And but I have a planetary camera which is like a 178 or the one. I think it's called not the one. It's the 482. It's the same. It's a
Right.
5.9 micron pixel.
Yeah, and he can fix the binning. I mean, he can fix the over. I mean, that is seriously
Yeah.
oversampled,
I mean,
certainly
he
for around
reduces the
here.
focal
But he
length.
can bin it, right? He can
Right.
bin 2x2, 4x4,
Yeah.
that's just a setting he'd click.
Yeah.
But I think optically, so
But he needs
that's
a bigger, yeah.
M27 you pulled up, Gary,
This is 27 now, so I'm
at
showing
his
that
native
same.
focal length with that 8-inch ACF. Yeah.
This is with the 0.63 reducer.
Oh, with the reducer. Okay, take the
So
reducer out.
yeah, I put the reducer.
Right. Now
Mead
take
has
it
that.
out and see what it does.
Yeah, Mead has that 0.63 reducer that screws onto the
The visual back.
visual back threads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this
by
is
the way, a Celestron one fits also. I have a Celestron reducer and it screws right on the back of my Mead.
Right.
I would think it would. Yeah.
so this is so the yellow is the no focal reducer,
Right.
and the red outline is with the focal reducer.
Yeah. I mean, you might want to ask him like what DSOs is he interested in, but any of the big hits is you're not going to get, you're not going to have a lot of sky
Yeah.
around to really give it a nice
Yeah.
composition. North American Nebula, forget.
Even
The
with the
Veil.
focal reducer, I mean, your field of view with that camera is only 15 minutes of arc on the long side
Yeah,
and 8.4 on the short side
Right.
yeah,
minutes. So that's pretty up close.
yeah. So this is I don't know if you can see this,
A
but this is
globular
the field of
cluster, a
view.
smaller globular cluster will work. Even something like M13 would just be the core.
Right.
Right, yeah. So if you do something like that, so here's the Hercules cluster. So with the focal reducer, you're just kind of getting to
Yeah.
to the outer halo kind of
Right.
area.
But that would be, I have no idea what those things would go for, but that would be a fairly inexpensive fix as opposed to changing the OTA.
Right, right. Now the other thing would be the camera. I don't know, like something like a 585 camera or something. That planetary camera has 4 times the surface area, right? That's 3840 by 2160 for that
And it's
camera.
and it's a, and it's a little bigger pixel too, right? Like a 3.5 or something, or
Yeah, it's
The 585 is 2.99 too.
ooh,
Yeah, it's small.
that's also okay.
yeah.
So
That
ASI,
means the sensor is still going to be pretty small. You put a lot of them
Hmm.
together, it's still small.
How about a
yeah, that is
533?
2.9. That is 2.9.
Yeah,
So that green is now with that camera
it's better.
and no focal reducer.
Oh, no photo. Put the focal
So
reducer
I'll
in.
put the focal reducer back on.
Now you got
So
something.
Yeah,
that
that's pretty.
blue is
Yeah,
the 585 camera
All right.
with the focal reducer. So now you're getting to something, like a little more. I mean, M13 is still a small object,
Right. Yeah, and
but at
again,
least
like
you're
what
getting a little back.
DSOs, what is he thinking in terms of the kinds of DSOs he'd like to, like what's going to be his first attempt? And if it's
Right.
something huge, like you said, M31, you're just going to be like picking
What
little
is
things out of it.
what does M81 or M82 look like in there?
So there's M31.
Yeah.
Just put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
M82 is probably not too bad. M81 is probably filled up pretty much. Try 81, see where you're
Yeah,
at.
let's see what Bode's galaxy.
81's pretty
like.
big.
And you're still on
That's not bad.
the new camera?
If
Or
you had
actually, you still have all those different colors,
Yeah.
includes his original.
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
this is the original focal reducer, then the bigger camera, no focal reducer, then the bigger sensor, I should say, with the
that would be
focal
nice.
reducer.
That would give you a real nice galaxy scale.
Now, has he said anything about his preference to galaxies versus nebulas?
He has not. No, I think he's just looking for kind of like this kind of feedback as to what the expectation should be,
Yeah.
and then what can he expect to do. I mean, when
Sending him
you look
this-
at that setup, it's you're really looking at small galaxies.
But
Right.
most galaxies are pretty small. I mean, besides
Right.
your M31 type of thing. I mean, M81 is one of the bigger galaxies. It's bigger than like 51 and stuff. So if he had
Yeah.
the reducer with the larger camera, he could probably handle almost all the galaxies, could handle the globs and all the planetaries, of course, but the planetary nebula. But um, you would still struggle a bit with like the larger nebula, like 41, the Lagoon, the
Yeah.
Eagle, the Swan, all those would be in.
The
Yeah.
veil.
The dumbbell, put M27 in there for grins. See if you can get that. I think that might fit.
Yeah, that would fit.
That,
Yeah,
that would
'cause
fit pretty good, you
that
would
worked
think.
even with the small camera and the focal reducer.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that's
So
nice,
there
yeah.
you got a lot
A
of
lot of room.
breathing space
It's
there.
a little easier to find things with a larger format camera too. With his most narrow field is
Well,
really small,
I
man.
mean, SharpCap and Nina both do plate solving
Yeah.
alignment, right? So I mean, you just say go here and it'll get you there.
What about something like the Trifid? So the Trifid should
The TRIF would
probably,
be okay. That would be no trouble.
yeah. So there's the Trifid.
Yeah.
So that would so small nebula, small you know objects like that.
Yeah. Throw the Swan
Nebulae
in,
like
Gary.
that.
Put in M17. See what that's smaller than the Lagoon, but pretty big.
Oh, the Swan. Yeah,
Oh, it fits in there easy. Wow.
yeah.
Doesn't
That
have a lot
actually
of the
would work.
extended nebula. Yeah.
Yeah, that would even work with the focal reducer,
Wow.
even though it would be tight.
Well, let's go for it. Put in M8. Let's look at the Lagoon. That's big.
Yeah,
Or M42 too, and just see how bad or how good it is.
that's not
Well, it
bad.
fits in there pretty good. You lose a little bit at the top there and a little bit in the outside, but the vast majority of it would fit with the larger sensor.
Yeah, that's
Nice
not bad.
image scale as far as like getting detail and looking, there's little dark nodules and stuff in the Lagoon would really come out well with that scale.
Yeah, yeah, that is one thing you get with that focal length.
I think, one thing Tom's going to have to make a decision on if he's going down this pathway is how much is he willing to spend. I mean, you can get like I've seen the 294s and the 533 ZWOs. You can get them for like $500 on like Astromar or Cloudy Nights. And then I've seen, the focal reducers. Those sometimes are like $90. But then now you're talking, what's he going to use for guiding? If he has to get an off-axis guider, then you got another camera to be considering.
Oh, he doesn't have guiding yet.
No,
Yeah.
correct, and that is
okay.
something.
But
that
he
is
can use the
something-
planetary camera at least, his
This is
6-2,
true.
Yeah.
for the
Exactly.
guider,
use
but he
that
needs
for
a guide
the-
scope, he has to hook it up with something, but at least he's got the
Right.
camera for
Yeah,
it.
you get the old Orion 50 millimeter.
Yeah, you get something. You could
Yeah, slap
probably
that on there. Use that. Reuse that.
Right,
So-
right, exactly. And then something like the 533 is roughly 3,000 pixels on the side, so it's a little bit less pixels, but it has the larger pixel size.
Yeah.
So
Like
if you
6
put
micron.
no, it's like 3.7 or something like that. Let me
Yeah,
look it up here.
375 or whatever.
533.
And the 533 has like a square image field.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
3.76. Yeah, so it
Yeah,
is.
look at that. Even the top piece gets put in and a little bit of faint
Gary,
velocity up top.
So something like a 533 could be sweet.
I
Yeah.
I use a 533 on my 10 or on my 8-inch SCT. I have the .363 reducer, and I have no problem plate solving. But if you use any kind of camera smaller than that, you're not going to be able to plate solve.
Oh, that's another issue.
It is, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I have
I've run into that
I,
with my 9¼ inch setup.
I have
Plate solving is
Hard.
more finicky.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have a 385 planetary camera, and the way I have to use that with my SCT is I have to do all my polar alignment with the 533 and then step down with the switching the cameras.
Wow.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, definitely send him this link so he can play with this tool to see what different options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought like, the focal reducer should be fairly inexpensive. If you can use either Celestron or Meade, that makes them more available. But it just needs to zoom out and
Yeah, he has to go to like, I mean, to really have a choice of objects, the
right,
larger of the two cameras, he has to get, I mean, one of those two would get him in the ballpark, I think.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean around here, average seeing is what, like 2, 3, 4.
Well,
So,
it's two though. When I did, but it can be higher than two, but two is typically average, I think, two arcs
okay.
at.
So yeah, but he was at .3 with the
Yeah,
original
right.
setup. So I mean,
Right. Right.
that's like Mauna Kea type
Yeah.
I
And
just
conditions.
not binned with the
Yeah, you're still 6/10 of an
533
arc
camera.
cycle.
He's still at like 0.6.
Yeah.
So
Bins
he's
would be
still,
like one,
at
two.
least twice oversampled. Now, if we bin that, obviously the field of view doesn't change,
Right.
but his image scale gets cut in half. So now, as far as thanks for the input. As far as the Sharp Cap versus Nina, I'm going to stop sharing. Um,
I haven't used Sharp Cap, but I mean, from what I've seen, you guys definitely are into it, and what I've seen online, it's a full featured set. I recently started using Nina about a year ago and was very surprised with how fast it just came up. And you're able to use all the different plugins, you're able to get to your focuser and your camera and your mount, and interconnected with ASTAP to do plate solving. That It was a lot of steps, and I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, but it did work pretty well.
okay.
So it's a learning curve, but it's not too painful. And then other people can speak to the experience with SharpCap. But if he's used to using SharpCap, I'm sure it does all of those things,
Yeah.
right?
It's one less
Well,
thing to
Tom,
buy. Yeah,
you
it does
probably
all the
have a
plate
lot.
solving
Yeah,
and all
Nina's
that
free.
sort of thing. And so it
Yeah,
can live stack for you. It
Nina's
collects the
free.
raws and you can do live stack if
Right,
it stacks well. It only the biggest and it does all the handles all the dithering and things like that. It has built in and it
right. But you can set up your sequences, this number
yeah,
of
you can do your
shots at this
sequences. Yeah, you
exposure
can
and
pick your targets through the night or whatever.
right,
Even for planetary work, you can set it up to fire off every minute and a half or something if you want to make a GIF or just try to capture a large number of videos.
right.
You just bang them right off. But the with Deep Sky, you can plan X amount of minutes on this object, and then move over to that object and shoot for 2 hours and move somewhere else. You can do all that.
Yeah, so I don't think
There's
Nina's
Sharp.
going to get him anything he doesn't already have, and if he's familiar with it, maybe work on some other aspect before you try
One
to.
less expense, maybe.
Well, yeah, well, Nina's free.
Oh, it's free. Okay.
Yeah, Nina's
Yeah,
free.
yeah. Nina's free.
ASTAP is free. That's not a problem.
I
But
was thinking if he's going to mount a little uh, mini Windows PC on the side of his computer, side of his scope, like an SI Air mounts on the side. You can mount
Yeah,
a
right,
Nina
he already
little
has
port.
that. Yeah, he already has that. He has a mini PC mounted to his rig.
So, well, he could try
He,
either
he
one.
he uses
But
that to run that.
yeah.
He uses that to run that controller
Oh, that's right.
that
Yeah.
he showed us before.
Well, if it'd probably be good to get himself running quicker to get Sharp Cap, do a few tries, and then he can play around with Nina. might be a way of doing it. So if he has a problem, if he knows how to run the software, he knows have a software issue. It's a it's a mechanical issue or a
Right.
camera or a hookup issue or something, focus issue, what have you.
Right.
I believe I've only used SharpCap for planetary, so I'm assuming it does do guiding also
Yeah,
for deep
does
sky.
guiding.
Okay.
You can use the guide
Okay.
or you can. In fact, because I don't use the guide camera, but I only have a 32 inch my focal length's only 32 inches, so it's a f4, 8 inch f4, and but I dither and everything. I just dither based on x number of pixels to move, and I tell how often to move, and I can make it just one direction, both directions, whatever. And to prevent any kind of image drifting, I say if the image has moved more than 20 pixels off center or 40 pixels off center, go back and recenter it so that I don't get, large black lines on the edges in case of it's long exposure or something, a couple hours. I don't get any drift and stuff since I'm not guiding. Um, it has all that kind of built in. So I can do a lot of stuff without a guide camera. And seems to work pretty well. I don't take real long things. I have taken up to 2 hours at times. In my crazy days, my one or two images I went kind of deep ended. I usually stay less than an hour for sure. But
I think the only other comment is from a post processing. I mean, you're talking a whole different workflow, getting away from planetary and going to deep sky, and that's not
oh yeah,
necessarily a short learning curve.
yeah, that's gonna be
Right.
yeah. Relatively
Yeah,
speaking, the other
but
stuff is
but
That is
relatively
true.
right, but
trivial.
nothing's going to save him from that.
No, no,
No,
no.
no,
So
Right.
there's no escape. That's all
Yeah,
part of it.
yeah.
you're gonna
There's
get
nothing he can
slapped in the
buy.
back of the head, the front of the head, and on the bottom all at the same time.
What camera do we have in the club loaner pool? It's not listed on the website. I
Oh,
thought
I
we
don't know
had
why
a
it's not
small
listed. I
camera. Do
don't
you know
know.
which sensor that is?
Might be a 533 or something like that. Joe would know.
Because he might be able to borrow a camera from the club.
Yeah.
Because that would at least, if it has a bigger sensor, it might get him into that slightly
Yeah,
bigger
I don't
ballpark.
know if Tom borrowed that camera when he first started his planetary work. I know a few people have borrowed it. I don't know who. I didn't. I don't know if I saw it on the loaner equipment list. It may actually be
No, it
just.
isn't. It isn't on the website. I'm on there now looking.
Yeah, I wonder if that's really Joe's and he just lends it out now and then.
Yeah, yeah, but that's a possibility. Joe had to leave, so
Yeah, yeah.
but
They
we can
said he
we
was
can
leaving.
follow up with him, or Tom can follow up with him. That
Yeah,
might
but it'd
be
be good
handy.
if you could just fool with a different camera.
Right.
Um,
Now, if it has the same, pixel size, it's not going to do him any good. But if it's one of the ones that's more like the 385 or 485 or 585, like that 3840 by 1080 kind of thing, or not 1080, 2160.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of the inventory because we just had a board meeting on Sunday, and one of the things all the financial stuff, and one of them was all the asset list, and there's
Oh,
no
great.
camera listed in
Oh,
Joe's,
okay.
and that was like March 22nd data.
Okay.
So um,
Okay. Well, I think it's a good discussion, and I'm sure he's going to appreciate the input from everyone, and at least allow him to make some decisions as to how he wants to proceed.
I have a large I have a 183 MC, which is a pretty large sensor. Um, I got that from Steve, actually, Steve Haas, and he had it. He got the pro version. He got the pro version there, and then I took that one back home when I was to visit him. He brought that back, and I fooled with it a bit. But I don't use it that much. I use it now and then, but he could borrow that if he wanted to, just to get it, fool around with it. It's no problem.
Which model is that? That's the 183?
It's the 183. Um, it's got a decent sized sensor.
But a very small pixel,
But yeah, it's got small pixels.
2.4.
I got the stats on it here. I have all my cameras listed here. The 183,
Oh, yeah.
the sensor size is 13.2 basically 2 by 8.8.
Yeah, it's big. It's a big,
Small pixel though, very small pixel, 2.4.
yeah. Yeah, but it's 5496, so that's a decent.
Yeah, it's 54 by 5496 by 3672. So it's a 20 megapixel sensor. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it has
just
some size to it. So that'd give them some field of view that you could play with.
yeah, I just added that to that thing I was sharing before, and it's not that different than the 533 in terms of the overall field of view.
Yeah. So you could borrow that to give it a try, you know?
I have an older SBIG ST4000 color that he can borrow also. That's got 7.4 uh, size pixels.
Oh, they're
It's
big,
it,
big
it
Well,
it
pixels.
that's a nice pixel size for
yeah, and it's
his
a
photo.
4K. It's an older, but it took great pictures. So yeah, if you wanted
That would
that,
be that would match, much better with his image scale
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
do you
because
think
you're
Tom's going
talking
to be at?
almost.
I was going to say, do you think Tom's going to be at the meeting Friday? Because I
I
can
think
bring it
so. I
Friday.
mean, he's usually there. He's at most meetings, so
Yeah,
I
I'll
said,
bring it with me because I really don't use that much anymore since I got the ZWO camera. So it's always nice to use.
Yeah, and he'd
And
be able to. There'd be no issue with ASCOM drivers for that,
right.
so he'd be able to tie it to his rig.
yeah, I'll
It's a
make a
bit
note too. I'll bring the
it's
other
a bit
camera with me.
heavier than the ZWOs. That's one thing.
Yeah, I'll bring the 183 with me. I'm putting it in my calendar now so I don't forget. That's my memory these days. It's my calendar.
We're all with you, Tom.
If I put it there, I'll remember. I always check that in the morning. Okay. Now I know what I'm doing.
Well, thanks for the input. I'm sure Tom will appreciate it. So what do we have as far as some new images? I know it's been lousy around here, but we do have some remote people, Steve, and Joe had to leave, but maybe there's some others.
I have a couple of things, but
And Tom, you did some Jupiter recently,
I did
right?
some Jupiter, yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
so the
And
weather in Texas hasn't been great either
No?
last couple of months. But I do have a few things I can show.
My stuff is still on the flash drive because I wound up with the eye surgery right after those 2 good nights we had.
been a tough go here for a while, but
Yeah,
hopefully with the weather, it gets a little warmer. It'll be
Am I showing anything?
not
nope.
yet. I didn't get a message with the sharing either.
Oh, it's
I
coming
think
up now.
it's coming up.
Oh yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Well, this is can't read it.
It's the spider and the fly.
Spider and the fly. I'm just trying to move something here out of my way.
And Steve, this is what the S30?
Yes, everything still is with the S30 down in Texas. I kind of like this. I don't know. I've never imaged this before, and I've only got part of the spider, but I think the name is
Yeah.
apropos. It's pretty cool.
Where's that located, Steve? And what constellation is that? Do you
You
remember?
always ask me that, Tom, when I don't have it on my list here.
It's not part of your name.
Yeah, not sure. But this was 60-second subs, almost 4 hours with HA03.
How's your
Looking up-
success with the 60-second subs? Are you getting a pretty good hit rate with those?
Yeah, good until about a week ago when my cable wrapped twice around the telescope, and now I'm getting trails. So I have to put another ticket in for them to go fix it.
That's kind of neat. I never saw that nebula before. I'm not familiar with it.
I'm still trying to move stuff here.
It's in Auriga, it looks like.
Is it?
Yeah,
So it's up nice and high.
yeah.
What is that? 1931.
Yeah, right now it's like 30 or 50, 55 degrees.
It's in the northwest, though, I guess, right?
It is. It's yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem for my location. I got a tree right in my northwest.
Yeah, it's right around 270 degrees azimuth.
So here's Thor's helmet with the S30.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Geez, that's
60-second subs, 5 hours total.
Wow.
Man, is that bright? Jeez.
How cropped in is that, Steve, compared to the full frame?
Probably halfway.
Okay. Wow.
So the S50, it would be only a little bit cropped.
Yeah. That's a great target for that.
That's it's really bright. You already pulled that out of there. That's not
Yeah.
that, it's not,
Yeah, I spent some time processing that too.
You're liking
one
those
thing
dark
that-
skies, huh?
Yeah, the one thing that Texas has done for me is given me a lot of material to process. So I'm getting better with my processing just because I'm spending more time doing it. Nothing really special here. Fireworks,
oh yeah, the fireworks.
Oh, nice.
couple hours.
I'm surprised you could get that image scale actually with the S30.
IR cut filter. Yeah, when you think about it, 30 millimeter.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's insane.
150 millimeter focal length, and look
Yeah.
at the size of that thing.
So here's a Phantom of the Opera, which I've never done before.
Wow. That's
Anybody
cool.
else done this one?
No,
No, that's a cool
it
thing.
is. Yeah.
Really neat.
Is that fairly low? Is that
It's pretty well named too. It's
Yeah,
really a
right.
nice mask. That's pretty neat.
Eyeballs, mouth.
Yeah, really. It's not bad. I like that.
And that's 3 hours. Relatively not too much
Not
time.
super long.
And again, 60-second subs.
Where's that one at? You don't know where that one is either, I bet.
I'm
course.
just looking it up now.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve,
Oh,
quick
it's in
question.
Cassiopeia.
Really?
Yeah, it's in
These guys are
Cassiopeia.
really nice.
Yeah.
So there's a question.
Yeah, Steve, I had a question. You're in dark skies in Texas. Why are you only doing 60-second exposures?
That's all it will allow me to do.
Oh, that's the maximum on those things. I see.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a good answer.
I was going to say, why is it so long?
Yeah. Why is it more than 5 seconds?
Why is it more than
Yeah.
10? No, 10 seconds is a nice
Yeah.
nice
Yeah,
number to stop at.
why is it 6 times longer than it needs to be?
Yeah, really. You're oversampling from an intensity standpoint. You're going to saturate your pixels.
Yep. All right. Here's your rosette.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that's nice.
Wow, that fit in there really nice, didn't it?
It did. Yeah. And I did some narrowband kind of Hubble palette processing on it.
That came out great.
It's pretty amazing.
you never know when to stop. You always want to keep going. But I got to the point where I just said, okay, don't touch another thing. You're going to ruin it.
Yeah, it looks great. And how many hours is that? How long is that?
3 hours.
3 hours. That's great.
A lot of detail in there for once again, short focal length, a lot of detail.
Yeah, like that, like 30 millimeter aperture, right? It's insane.
Small diameter aperture and short focal length, and still look what you get.
So this is kind of a mess, but it's a seagull, the seagull head and part of its wings. It's one of my targets to go back to and try to do better with.
That was 3 hours also.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now
Amazing.
the next one coming up took 3 weeks of my life.
Oh, the dolphin.
So
Oh,
this was really low and really faint, even in Texas.
wow.
And I started taking subs and couldn't process anything. And I
That is
just
a
kept adding. I
great
got
image.
eight
That is a
nights,
great image.
8 nights worth of subs on this.
Look at that. 20 hours. Woo!
Well, that's 20 hours out of 30 hours that I took.
Wow.
Took the 20 best hours.
That's
Dan
great.
Stern took this image of the dolphin. It was in the newsletter. I think I was the editor at the time, so it was January, February last year. I think I put it. It was the cover photo for the newsletter. That's how I remember it. And this, as far as the brightness and the amount of nebulosity, this is pretty close to Dan's shot, which was wasn't an
So,
S30.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I like I say, this was close to 30 hours of my time collecting subs,
30 hours.
processing, reprocessing, collecting more subs. And I wasn't going to give up. I wanted this so bad.
Yeah.
That might be the
That
longest sea star thing. I don't know, Bill. Have you taken more than 20 hours?
I don't know. That's a
And
good
because you've
question.
taken some long ones, I know, but this one is,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know anybody who shot 20
yeah,
hours with a sea star.
the difference between his and mine is that, like half of mine are garbage and then the other half are just washed out from the light pollution. So,
Yeah. He's in the dark. That would take probably about 80 hours here.
Oh, at least.
I
At
mean,
least.
8 hours of good frames, let alone you probably shot for like 200 hours to
yep,
get the
I,
yep.
eight.
I wouldn't be able to do that where I live. I just wouldn't.
Oh no, that's
Yeah. That's
Be
that's way
impossible.
too low for us up here.
Oh yeah, and it was low down there,
Steve.
so
You
it's
should
even
send that
lower up
shot to
here.
the newsletter to George Keaton is the editor this month. You should
What's
send
that?
that in.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
a great image.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, send in some because they're great. That looks great.
yeah, the 3D effect of that is
I
amazing.
know it's
Yeah.
wild, isn't it?
That's a
Just
terrific
sticks
image,
out.
Steve. That's a great image, Steve.
That is
Thank
really
you.
good.
That's all I got.
Very nice.
Great. Well, thank you so
Nice
much.
collection.
Thank you.
And so that what it's 150 millimeter focal length
Yes,
on that, and that's uh the same size sensor as the as what Tom Skrovanak was talking about in terms of pixels, right? It's 1920 by 1080.
I think it is.
It's a relatively small sensor, but a short focal length. Very nice.
Yeah.
So this is is this Ed? Who's streaming now? Who's sharing now? Ed Sellers?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is the S50. Let me see. I got the Leo here, triplets. So what's this? This is 240 minutes. Yeah, I just have a few things here. Can't see.
Yeah, right now we're seeing the flame.
And the
Okay.
horse head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me see. That's, yeah, 100. Yeah,
105.
105 minutes. Yeah. That's just, you know, just a few shots from the S50.
Straight up. Very nice. And that's local, right, Ed?
Yeah. Yeah. We're Harleysville, what, Bordal 5, 6. Yeah.
Oh, a dark sky site.
Yeah.
Everything's relative, Ed.
About a mile from the prison. Yeah. They don't turn those lights out. Let's go back.
That's nice. You have any you have it at your Jupiter thing, Tom?
I do. Can you guys see that?
It's coming up.
It's coming up. There you go.
Okay, it's just 10th and the 11th. This is actually universal time. It's funny because Wayne took some pictures and said it was clear on the 9th and 10th. And I go back and go, yeah, I'm looking at universal time. I got for universal time. It's actually, so this is a little bit misleading.
Okay.
That looks incredible, Tom.
But that's,
Yeah.
I got a,
I see you've got that white spot that's down below the red spot.
there's a couple down in the south here. There's a couple
there's a
ovals,
real
you know?
white on my image that I shot
It's one up here.
the last time. I got the white thing that's on the left image to the lower right of that. There's a big white area there.
Oh, this
Oh,
thing.
there.
That thing.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, that was weird. I
And
know.
I saw that on my pictures, and I got 2 frames before it rotated out of view, and mine are not as sharp as yours, but it's
Yeah, it's really different. It's
it's
really weird.
interesting.
It's a weird it's a funny disruption in that belt. I mean, it really is. And it kind of dips into this wider oval here, which cuts in two between these two white ovals, you know?
Yeah.
It's a weird little thing. I was surprised.
Yeah.
But this is just a shot in between, sort of, you know, with the red spot looking in. The red spot's pretty red these days. I mean, those a few years ago was really had paled out to almost nothing.
Yeah, it
Very
was like
hard
a
to
pale
pick up.
pink.
But it's really getting dark.
You know, I
And
never noticed that ripple. Maybe I've never looked that closely before.
what, at the red spot?
Right above the red spot and down.
That changes. That wasn't there last year like that. There was just one smooth arc on above it. It's almost like a wave going back, you know, onto the left of the center picture. Yeah, that was it was there to a lesser effect. I only got Jupiter a couple of times this year. Back on the 28th of January, roughly, 6 weeks earlier, it wasn't as pronounced as that.
Maybe that's the G spot.
And this is something I was kind of just horsing around with, where I took from the 2 nights. I said, I got some different longitudes. Let me see if I can just sandwich them together. I didn't get like the 360 all the way around, but it's about 310, I think, degrees worth of, of the planet kind of laid out in a flat map
that's
sort
cool.
of a thing.
I like that. Yeah.
Which, it's kind of.
Have you ever
kind of
seen that before, Tom? Or
what, mapped out like this? I
yeah,
have somebody did it. I saw it somewhere. Not to
it's
give
the
me
first
the
time
idea.
I've seen it.
I
Yeah.
look forward to the day when you can take and just wrap that around and just have it spin on our screen in a GIF file, Tom.
The whole time. Okay. I'll have to
I'm
work.
sure
That's going to take.
there's
Yeah.
the old script
Actually, it
out there for
rotates
that
pretty
problem.
fast. If I could I had like a 6 hour chunk window, I could get all the way around, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, good luck with that here.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
But just yeah, that and the physical location. It's guys for only certain parts of my sky can I track for 6 hours. And I just have it. This is for Nelson's benefit. This is my jewelry rig, Rube Goldberg electric focuser. Just an Orion bracket with this little Orion motor. Had a timing gear I bought. I was up at Stellafane and they have all these ATM parts and stuff. And there was a bag of weird little timing gears and belts and stuff and cost $1. It was like a gallon bag worth. I just picked it up saying, how long am I going to do with this? But it looks like it might have some use in the future. That was about 10 years ago. And then ended up putting it on the shaft fit and I could put it on the motor here. Just taking one little collar piece off. Use timing belt, the same timing belt as you'd have like in a 3D printer, just wrapped it around. In this case, it looks like it's wrapped around the slow motion focuser, which the slow motion control, which actually it did work that way, but I had since printed up a little gear that's the exact pitch of these teeth here in the belt, and I just slid it on so I can just drives a little smoother.
Yeah.
But it's just Velcroed on like this, and I have these Velcro strips on my 10-inch and my 6-inch as well, and I just pop it off and put it on depending on the scope du jour, and that's it. So there you go.
Nice. Thanks, Tom. And Bill, you said you have the needle?
Yeah, so when we had the few clear days or clear nights, I got the Sea Star out because I want to actually do some visual, but I'm working on my DOP, so I haven't had a chance to get it out. But I did this for the needle, and what I try and do when I use the Sea Star is get it back to see what I can do that
891, I guess.
that
Is that
gets it
891 or
to
465, 4565 or
kind of like when the Sea Star does this auto noise reduction.
yes.
It's way, in my mind, it's way too powerful.
It
I
is
want
too
to see
heavy. They're too heavy-handed.
It's too heavy, right? Yeah, it's NGC 4565, Tom. The this is kind of me getting back to the Sea Star heavy-handedness. This image right here. I'm not a huge fan of it because I don't like the way the Sea Star just kills everything noise-wise. But that being said, here when you do it over a course of a few nights, it's just so unworkable that you kind of have to douse it.
You
So I'm
know,
gonna. What's up?
Bill, there's some students at this school that I work a little bit with, and they have an astrophotography club. And I gave them a quick cheat sheet, very simple type processing stuff. So simple. I actually have them start with the JPEGs, just JPEGs, and we process from there. And know what I did? I told them, and this works pretty well for something like this. If you don't do any C star, smoothing, if you bring it into Graspert and do the denoising there all the way up to 1.0, just max out the put it on that. It's about one half as powerful as the C Star smoothing,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
much nicer. It's about the right level.
Right.
So it's kind of a cheap way, real quick, to smooth it without killing it.
So I processed this in PixInsight tonight, and then I just kind of did minor tweaks, very minor tweaks in Photoshop. The other one was heavier, but this one was pretty minor. The one you see here. This is a different image than the one you just saw.
Okay.
This one I left noise in. I don't know if it pinches like I'm pinching on my screen. I don't know if it does anything for you guys. But
it does.
I left noise in, which I think gives it a better detail.
It does.
I'm not offended by the noise.
No.
And
Now I am much more offended by over smooth than I am noise.
Yeah.
Right. So I processed this through Pix, which one of the things I had a problem with was it couldn't find. So I had to manually tell what it was because the solver was working, but solver wasn't finding enough. I manually told solver what it was, and then for the SPCC, which is going to color calibrate everything, I had to really tinker around in there and change some of the settings, which I've never had to do before, just to get it to color calibrate. And you can see the color calibration is kind of faint. You know, I run everything through curves. I run everything through. I didn't stretch it too much here. I didn't. There's no need. It's galaxies. So I run everything through curves, and then I try and mask it and see what I can still pull out of that galaxy a little bit. And then when I get it over into Photoshop, I use Smart Sharpen to just kind of bring in this line, get this line a little more detailed
Yeah.
in the galaxy, and get the two other galaxies. This central bulge is more detailed than you would see just in a flat image. But yeah, you know, this is what, I don't know, 15 hours C Star. I had shot over 3 nights and cut about a third of it. When there's a thin cloud haze or any kind of thin cloud, it's just unworkable because the image is too bright.
Yeah.
So you really have to chainsaw them out. But
This is with the S50, Bill?
yeah, it's with the S50. Yep. I think it came out pretty good, given
Yeah, really.
all that.
It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, the trick here, compared to the way they're gonna some of the more aggressive noise reduction, this isn't bad. I mean, you get more detail when you leave some of that noise in sometimes, and yeah, I think it's fun.
Do you tend to, or what's your philosophy on taking the noise out up front, or do you wait further down the process?
That's the last thing I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right or wrong.
Well, that's what I hear most. But what I've been doing lately is I just do it first.
I
don't know
always
why.
worry, Steve. I always worry I'm going to lose data.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a legit concern. I just always do it last because I'm worried I'm going to lose data.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
feel the
ask
same
whenever
way.
I
I'm
can
nervous
because
about it.
I'm still confused what really is the best to do.
Mhm.
And maybe it depends. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think one time I tried it, Steve, and I did it same image before and after, the same basic process. Now, my image processing skills are nowhere near, you know, most people in here probably, but for me, it really didn't make much of a difference. But I always do it last. But I didn't notice a drastic difference. But for the same reason that Bill mentioned, I'm concerned about losing things. I do it at the very end.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, you
Very
can
nice,
you can
Bill.
you can even try splitting it. That's one I've done that. I noticed with this, I've been doing some stuff with the 30 Pro, the C Star S30 Pro. And if it's something where I'm going to pull the stars out, like I did the flame and the horse head. Actually, I could show you a comparison. How much time do we have? We have a few minutes? Yeah, we have a few minutes, right? What
So
is
Gary, I use mask initially, and this is again a struggle with some noise in heavy noise images. This is a struggle with it. Is that I don't want to mask. I've never been a fan of the masking in PixInsight. Find it cumbersome. Every time I do it, I have to Google it, figure out how to do it, and then like I use different like the range or whatever, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's too sharp. There's no like feathering that works quite as nicely as Photoshop. So I tend to try and if I'm gonna noise reduce in uh, in Pix, I'll definitely use Noise Exterminator, but I tend to try and be gentle with it.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to suggest. Like I'll use a real mild noise exterminator after I extract the stars on the starless image. And then and then a lot of times it doesn't need anything else later on if I have enough data. But if it does need something later on, I'll apply a relatively mild or maybe medium noise reduction at the end. I've been playing with that a little more recently with the C Star stuff, just because they tend to be noisier images because I don't have as much data and I'm not taking as deep a sub.
Oh, right, yeah. To that point, this was I drizzled 4 times over on this guy. I mean,
Okay.
much more aggressive with C Star. I just keep that gas pedal on for the drizzle,
Yeah.
because you have to. It just you have to get that sensor down.
Right. Right. Exactly. So this, let me see. So this is the horse head and the flame from the Sea Star. Let me do this. This is let me make
It's
it.
from your backyard.
Yeah, yeah. This is from my house. So this is basically the having the Sea Star stack it, no noise reduction, no gradient correction. So you can see a very significant gradient. This is in my front on my front wall outside the front door. My front door. That's the only view I have of Orion. Um, and it's about an hour and 15 minutes worth of data, something like that. 30-second subs. This is with gradient correction applied in the Sea Star.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if that's on the S30 now. And I have the Pro, the S30 Pro that I got in about 3 weeks ago, and they have this the gradient correction in it. And then
Gary,
this
Pretty
is
good.
with noise reduction put in. So this is what you were saying in terms of how smooth it is.
yeah,
It looks kind of fake to
it's
me.
very plasticky.
Yeah.
Gary, were you able to compare the gradient reduction in the S30 to, say, PixInsight's gradient correction?
Yeah. So that's so this is using the Sea Star to process it, doing what they call a deep sky stack, not just the JPEG that pops out after you do it. I actually went through, I got rid of a couple bad subs. I think there was one actually that had some star trails. I got rid of that and then restacked it in the Sea Star and then did that. I also then took those same exact subs and I put them into PixInsight with I should rotate this. Let me rotate that so it's apples to apples. So these are the same subs in PixInsight out of this S30 with like medium noise reduction. This was done at the beginning. So when I pulled the stars out, I extracted the stars before I stretched the nebulosity, and I applied noise reduction to that pre-stretched nebulosity. But it's not a lot of noise reduction. You can tell compared to that Sea Star one. Where are the controls on this? I can't find my advanced controls. Let me just open the image again. I'm going to pull this over here so it's not in the way. So if you look at the noise reduction of the Sea Star, I'll rotate that again. It's drastically more pronounced to the point where it pulls a lot of this wispiness out. Now I'm zoomed way in here, obviously. This is also drizzled 2x. This particular image. That's drizzled 2x, but then resampled to 0.5x. So this is the same image scale. The PixInsight image here is the same image scale as this one. So that gives you an idea. Like you can see the wispy stuff in here. That's all gone in the with the Sea Star noise reduction. Now, obviously, this is in PixInsight. I can do much more aggressive stretching. In the S30 processing, it mainly just has brightness and contrast, and then color. You can change the color tone. So this is way more aggressively stretched to get all this background stuff. But this is basically, this is C-Star S30 Pro data. And what it, oh, I'm sorry, it's an hour and 43 minutes. That's what it is. It's 206 30-second subs. And one thing I noticed with the S30 Pro is that, like last night, I had a problem with my flat, and I wound up redoing the flats, and I wound up shooting M44 just as really a test shot to see if the problem went away that I had with the flats, with the built-in flats. And I didn't really spend a lot of time polar aligning it. I have it in equatorial mode, and usually I try to get it down to like a couple tenths in terms of each direction. When I'm doing it, I'll spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes playing with the adjustments, the deck and the RA kind of adjustments, or I should say altitude and azimuth of the little head. Last night I didn't do that at all. I got it under like one. I guess it's I guess it's in fractions of a degree. So it was like 0.7 degrees and 0.5 degrees or something instead of 0.2 or numbers I usually go for. And what I found was that I had to actually go down to 10-second exposures. If I did 30-second exposures, they were trailing so much that I couldn't use any of them.
That's interesting.
Just by shortcutting polar alignment by literally about 2 minutes. So I kind of kicked myself afterwards, but since it was just a test for the flats, I didn't really care what the exposure length was. And M44 is pretty bright. I was shooting the Beehive open cluster.
Yep.
And but that was an eye opener to me. When I took this shot, the horse head into flame, I only had one bad exposure out of 206. I only had to throw one out due to star trails.
How do you have it mounted?
I have it on a camera tripod, like an old Bogan camera tripod. I have one of those little leveler things,
Yeah.
an accessory, and then I have one of those Ioptron trackers that has a little equatorial wedge, really kind of flimsy wedge. It's anything to write home about.
Right.
It's kind of bargain basement wedge that came off of an old Ioptron tracker that I have, and that's what I'm using.
Oh, cool.
But with that, I can get it to usually within 0.1 degree or 0.2 degrees.
And
Within a
it's
couple
stable
of-
enough to hold it.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah. I set the level first. There's a little bubble level
Right.
on the thing. I kind of get that close, and then I go into the I guess it's fine deviation.
Right.
It's called in the equatorial mode, and then I just turn the knobs until it gives me pretty low numbers.
Right. But the tripod's not wobbly or anything.
No, it's an old heavy, it's fairly heavy duty
Right.
Bogan tripod, and I have vibration suppression feet that I had built for it that I made out of some PVC foot fittings. So it kind of has a little bit of vibration suppression in it too. But that was eye opener to me. Now I'll repeat that experiment to see if it really was just that. Like last night was it wasn't really windy or anything, so it was, but there was a little more wind than this night when I did this, what you're looking at now.
I would say with the 50 when it comes to tracking, I'm always under impressed by the tracking abilities of the C-Star. My normal telescope and everything will track rock solid, and a C-Star is all over the place, always jumping around, even in equatorial, even when it's perfectly aligned. It doesn't have star trails, but it also doesn't. You just are always trying to avoid having the image cycle through this, as it, I don't know, whatever it's doing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a little bit of apples to oranges, but it's more from a image size standpoint. So this is the S30 Pro, which has the the upgraded sensor, like the 585 sensor compared to the S30 and the S50. So this is M44 shot with the C-Star S30 Pro. This is an hour and 14 minutes of 10-second subs because this was from last night. And then this is the same target I shot with a Red Cat 51 and a 2600 MC camera. So an APS-C size sensor. Just to give you a feel for how much the sensor size matters. So this sensor is roughly twice the size in X and Y, so 4 times the area of this sensor. This is a 250 millimeter focal length telescope. This is 160 millimeter. So, there's a ratio there in terms of the field of view. But I think both images, this, if you cropped the Red Cat one, kind of like that, I guess you'd have to pull it down a little more. That's kind of the C-Star field of view. But if you zoom in, now obviously there's going to be more background nebulosity. This camera is a cooled camera. I was shot this at minus 20 degrees C. But the C-Star
Pretty impressive.
does, and I think an amazing job. These are both processed with PixInsight as closely as I could. I use the same exact steps, but sometimes you have to adjust the sliders a little more. Same, like medium kind of noise reduction. I don't like to overdo the noise reduction. But even corner to corner in the S30 Pro, the corner stars, right, the subs are surprisingly round. The corner to corner stars. You got a little bit of distortion on that bright guy up there, but compared to the Red Cat, which is the telescope itself costs twice as much as the C-Star. But I mean, really, I tell you, I'm blown away by the quality of it, and the simplicity of it is just, Now there's some gradient stuff here. I kind of did this very quickly this afternoon just so I could point it out, just so I could show the group kind of that field of view perspective. This has a different image scale, so your stars are not going to be quite as well defined. But if I get to the same kind of area, these are they're nicer stars, a little sharper. But it's also it's a $1,500 camera and an $800 telescope compared to I paid for was it when they had the $50 off, so whatever, I guess it was $550 for the C-Star.
Yeah, I rarely ever see star trails, Gary, on the tracking side. It's not the if it had honestly, if I had a guide scope, I think I'd probably save a lot of trouble because it tries to do this thing where it's always solving. I take it, and it doesn't drift, and it drifts back, and it drifts and drifts back, and I mean that drives me insane when I go to process because the little drift back and forth creates blocks in the data when you start pulling it. So you have these this white this white zone that starts. It's like a whitish, a light zone. I guess is probably the best way to put it. You have these blocks in production that I don't know. I like the C Star, but at least the S50, the way the equatorial mode works, which is way better than the all azimuth mode, which is bonkersly bad when it comes to doing a lot of long-term exposures. It could be better, but like you said, it only costs $500.
Yeah. I
So
think
can't really complain too much, I guess.
no. I think that I like having that bigger sensor. That's why I was waiting for something to come out other than the first generation ones. But from an ease of use standpoint, I don't think I would do alt az mode. Unless I was maybe you're doing something quick at like a star party or something. Because the benefit of being able to get like an hour's worth of data over 20 minutes worth of data is significant. Even 2 hours, or like you're doing 10 hours or something like that, right?
15
Or like
now.
Steve, what you're doing,
Steve with
right? 20,
20.
30 hours worth of data. But anyway, I just thought I would show
Yeah.
a little comparison. The neat thing too is that pulling it into some other kind of post-processing software gave a huge improvement in terms of what you can pull out of it. So the data is there. Now that Flame Nebula Horsehead was cold that night. So even though the Sea Star is not a cooled camera like the 2600 I have on the Red Cat, it was still running. It was cold that night, so it was still running, with lower thermal noise than you would get in the middle of the summer. So that's going to be a disadvantage once I, am using it in the summer months because I don't have any way to cool it at that point. Could put ice cubes around it or something.
Ice pack.
Yeah. And anyway, I think does anyone have anything else real quick? We're running a little bit late, so we'll wrap it up. Okay.
That was good.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate
Very
it.
good.
Okay.
Take care, Ray.
And
Take
then
care,
next,
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
if there's any good weather next month, bring some pictures to show.
Want to try.
Okay. Take care. Good night,
Galaxy
everybody.
season.
Good night, everyone.
I'll
night.
see you.
Hey.
Bye.